The USGS began developing a new generation sampler in mid-2021. This new sampler will be a combination of a point sampler and a depth integrated sampler in one body. The sampler can function much like the P6200 point sampler, but can also take depth integrated samples in one or two directions by simple adjustments. This sampler is being made using 3D printing technology, and the core will be filled with weights and epoxy to produce a total mass of 200 pounds. The removable head or faceplate will be buoyant and float if dropped in the water. The prototype of this sampler is in its final stages, and the performance test will be done late 2022 into 2023. The final approval of this sampler is expected to be in 2023 or early 2024. These are some of the parts that are being printed by 3D printer that will eventually be the front cone of the new P21 point sampler. As you can see, it's hollow on the inside. This will be filled with a mass and then epoxy to give it the weight that it would need to be a sampler. Actually will end up being around 200 pounds. This would be the head, and it has a cutaway that you can see. And this would be part of the mechanism that would be the valve, holds the valve and the plunger, just like the P6200 that you saw earlier. And so all of these pieces were printed on a 3D printer, and the valve mechanism would be held in place here with some stainless steel bolts. And then this would be assembled like this. Has a cutaway here just for purposes of viewing. This would be a port for the air to escape, and then this mechanism that's now being looked at could be removed, and then the sampler could become a depth integrated sampler. This would be a nozzle for the P2100 or the P21, developed in the year 2021. These nozzles will also be printed on a 3D printer. That's the 3/16. Here's another 3/16. These are prototypes, of course. They're not finished at all. But then the nozzle will screw into this opening. And then it would be assembled in sections. And so this would be the top section. This part of the assembly will not have any mass to it, so if it were accidentally, because it can be removed from the heavier sampler, if it were to be accidentally dropped overboard, this part would float. So would the nozzles, and so would prevent loss of that by dropping it in the water accidentally.